Welcome to this week's EPOCH update. We'll be reviewing the 4 articles I published this past week. Beginning with, that is, a continuation in the series about abortion, specifically abortion's arguments. The arguments that are employed in order to support abortion, which, as I've pointed out various times, tells you something right then and there. Because, for example, if you want to buy some food for a homeless person, do you find yourself justifying it and coming up with fanciful arguments as to why you should? Or, since you know it's a good and decent thing to do you just go ahead and do it? So why is it that people who support abortion, they have to come up with all these arguments in favor of it? Why? Why not say, hey, abortion just is. It's a good and decent thing to do, and we're doing it. Unfortunately, I think we are moving in that direction because as society deteriorates ethically, then, well, put it this way, I can provide you quotations and citations of atheists, not just, prepubescent kids posting online from their mother's basement, but well-known names who are supposedly brilliant people, claiming that, well, look, rape played a beneficial role in human evolution. So there it is. Oh yeah, on the other side of it, they also want to say that, well, yeah, it is wrong and stuff, but yeah, it definitely helped. Yeah, it's truly unbelievable, but it's true. So in this case, the argument we'll be dealing with is almost too preposterous to consider, but it's been put out there. So it is the claim that making abortion illegal will not stop it. So therefore, why even bother? Why make it illegal? It won't stop it. It'll continue. Women will go to the back alleys, the whole issue of why are coat hangers being used. And, well, this is interesting because it's a misconception of the very point of why things are made illegal. They're made illegal so as to dissuade people from committing the acts, not necessarily to stop them from committing the acts. And what kind of logic is this in the first place? Let's say rape, as we discussed. Hey, making rape illegal won't stop it, so you might as well make it legal. In fact, make it legal and provide organizations that provide a nice, comfortable, safe place where you can go and you can engage in that activity. Why not? It's not going to stop it. Another article was on the Origin of Life prize. All right, so think about that. If you can prove abiogenesis, you can win a huge prize and become world famous, as a side benefit. So what is the Origin of Life prize? Well, the article discusses how it's now it's been all but put on hold because after over a decade of the prize being offered, the takers were basically just not even worth going up to the upper tier of judges. Okay, this was, again, this wasn't some kind of fancy internet thing put out on a blog. It was, an organization that had pretty prestigious people on it as peer reviewers, and it basically was a huge failure. Okay, because, if you truly believe that life came about when lightning struck a swamp or whatever, you can puff that up with all the fancy sounding terms you want. Or it came on the backs of crystals or whatever. I mean, just put it forth as a viable theory and you're set. But this just hasn't happened. Instead, we get those kinds of ideas, not to mention panspermia, directed panspermia, and what have you. Deep ocean vents, that kind of thing. But the problem is that quaint Victorian-era Darwinian tall tales don't make for a scientific theory. I know that's kind of shocking, but it is true. Another article is on a hip-hop and R&B performer named D'Angelo. And it was very interesting that he discusses Lucifer, and he discusses the energies into which musicians tap to do their musical craft, you know. What's most interesting is that he references that he used to be in a church worship band, right? And he talks about how, well, you know, in church you want to tap into the Holy Spirit. You want to rely on the energy and power and the guidance of the Holy Spirit and this and that. And then he says, well, what he's doing now, what musicians in pop culture and pop occulture are doing now, is they're doing the same kind of thing, but in typical satanic form. They're doing it upside down, inside out, and backwards, right? So they're tapping into the evil forces to do that which they do. And it's very interesting how he correlates the two. And of course, the whole cottage industry has arisen, discerning symbolism in music videos and lyrics and album covers. And what's fascinating is back in the day, I was into like black and or death metal. And I mean, the imagery was just right in your face. You didn't have to even cross your eyes to figure out what it was. But it's so bizarre to me that it's so prevalent in R&B and hip hop and rap. I mean, I would have not expected to find it there, but there it is. And the last article is about the recent discovery, which is put in these terms, quote, "The greatest absence of evolution ever reported," close quote. And again, this isn't from the website of some, those wacky, backwards country, Bible thumping, young earth creationist guys. No, I mean, this is from a peer-reviewed science paper that examined bioorganisms, bacteria, etc., that are dated somehow to be circa 2 billion years old. Not million, billion years old, and that they're the same as today. No change. No change to very, very little change in 2 billion years. So they're calling it the greatest absence of evolution ever reported. But wouldn't you know it, that is still evidence for evolution. See, you have to understand, one time I posted an article about how, since evolution is a theory about everything, it is therefore a theory about nothing. Because no matter what it is, if you claim it's change, if you claim it's not, it doesn't matter. Everything falls under the umbrella of evolution. So the evidence doesn't matter anymore. It's all just vacuumed up by the theory of evolution and made to fit it somehow. It's really astonishing how people don't see that it's just a tall tale. It's a philosophy. It's a worldview. It's a template, and that's why things are force fitted into it, not because they fit into the logical or scientific theory, but because it fits into the worldview, it fits into the philosophy, it fits into the template. So when you can prove, or so it is claimed, that these organisms have not changed in 2 billion years, that's still proof of evolution, by golly. It's really astonishing. So there's the 4 articles I published this week. 2 pertaining to science and evolution, 1 on hip-hop and R&B, and 1 on abortion, kind of a little wider scope this time around. And I'll put the links, as usual, in the info section, and go check them out, and if you would, spread them around your social networking sites. Even if it's to say, look what this schmuck posted, eh? All right, thank you guys.